Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum, see what's going on. Simple way to understand this coin, it still isn't broken free from its local high. Most other coins have done that. So the truth is, it's not looking so great here for the moment. I'm not trying to come down on this coin, but just generally speaking, the price action looks terrible, and I don't really love what I see here so far. But we're going to take an abstract, unbiased look at this coin and kind of see if there's anything that may be telling for some kind of shift in momentum. But just simple way to understand it, things are not looking phenomenal. What is looking pretty phenomenal here is that amount of liquidation above the price. I know it seems kind of weird and crazy because it's the opposite of what you think is logical, but there's a ton of resistance between 1700 and 1900. All the more reason why we're probably going to see a short squeeze that just destroys a ton of shorts. I mean, look how much money is on the table right now. Each one of these red bars, I can't count how many there are, they're all worth $2 to $3 billion, okay? So that's a lot of liquidation above the price. So I would say, for the most part, we break through 1700, we'll probably see a run towards 18 or 19. It just seems likely. But between now and then, we got to treat that like a resistance and potentially consider shorting that range. Mainly, I say that because this is a weekend, any type of profits are typically going to be erased. This coin has a tendency of 2xing most other coins to the downside and only like a half x to the upside. So it's very underwhelming, this coin right now. So just please understand that. I've dollar cost averaged in this coin a lot with my spot bag. So I'm not trying to come down or be like, hey, this coin sucks. I invest in it totally. But sometimes I second guess that, honestly. But at this point, my average price is still in the green, so I'm not really all that concerned. And I do think long term, even though it's a slow grower, we'll probably see this coin, maybe 2 or 3x in the next few years, right? So that's definitely the hope. However you look at it, liquidation delta is about 4 billion, down from its high at roughly 8 billion from last little push up. So for the most part, you don't want to short against this, but it's also pretty weak. It pales in comparison to most other coins that are coming back up here. What that tells us is that our liquidation delta is lower compared to this last pump, and the main reason why is because it's probably lower volume. And we should be able to see that on the charts, which you can. I mean, we have one small little volume pump there, but for the most part, outside that one red candle here, roughly 4 hours ago, we don't see a tremendous amount of volume flowing into this coin. And that's never a good sign. Last thing I want to look at here really quick is open interest, and just recognize that we are, so here, where are the outliers? We can see 1610 and 1550 are those next two potential areas of support. But you can see this big open interest area above the price. That's reinforcing resistance at 1650. So I'm honestly leaning a little bit more towards a short position with this coin. I know it seems risky. I don't recommend necessarily shorting a lot of coins right now. We do have 2 shorts open with Bitcoin and Solana, both really close to their break even, but for the most part, I just feel like we're going to see a pullback this weekend based on historically this year, we've seen 13 out of 14 red weekends. So it's not a guarantee, but the odds are in our favor that we're going to go down. So do you want to short this coin or take it long? Well, from a daily perspective, we're below all moving averages. Roughly 1800 is where that 200-day SMA, sorry, that's the 20-day SMA is hanging out. The 200 is way away from us. So for the most part, majority of coins, altcoins right now, are like above 50 on the RSI. This coin isn't even close. So really, Ethereum is just the price action looks terrible. The charts look pretty bad. I mean, you could argue that the 4-hour time frame looks nice, which is true, but every single altcoin looks good in the last on the 4-hour period from the last 2 or 3 trading days, because we've had some bullish continuation leading into the weekend. But I don't really trust this. This feels like it doesn't feel very, very comfortable, right? The good news is there's a point of control below us about 1560. So if you do end up taking a short position, a tighter short would be nice. A good 3 to 4% movement maybe is what you might be looking for. I wouldn't try to get super greedy to the downside, even though this coin just pretty much drops hard. Either way you look at it, that's kind of where we're at there. The 4-hour does tell us that we have good momentum and there is likelihood of further upside, but everything else is pretty terrible. And this being a weekend, I really don't trust what I see here. So I'm not really leaning towards taking a long on this coin for sure. But if you were to take a long, ensure you secure profits in that $1,700 to $1,800 range, because there's a lot of liquidation there, and we have a lot of resistance in that $1,800 to $1,900 range too. So that's all here. Future reference, 1750 is like the heaviest area of resistance based on that we're spending so much time there as a support. Okay, so if you do take a long, secure profits before 1750, somewhere in the 17 to 1750 range. That's a more precise way to say it. All right, that's all we got there. I hope that makes sense. I described it correctly. Thanks so much again for watching. I hope you did learn something here today. Comment below if you get a chance. Let me know what your thoughts are on this coin. Join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you want to become part of our Trading Academy community or Signals group. We secured a lot of good profits on our AVAX long, Solana long, 63%, and roughly 41 from Bitcoin. So flipping short at this point just based on typical weekend manipulation. That's the concept. Hope you have a good one. Thanks again. We'll see you next one. Take care.